All right, so hi, Aletha. Um, I wanted to let you know I'm currently uploading a video to YouTube that's going to be private. Um, but I found when I got off the phone with you, I wanted to spend some time to send you what I have and just spend some time to focus on you. No rhyme or reason, just wanted to. I want to be clear that I'm still new to understanding what card reading and stones or crystals and energy and all those things mean to me. I know that in the past for me, it has represented, people call us crazy or weird or whatever it may be, but I'm finding through my journey that actually started before I ran into people at Saybrook that believed in the same types of things. And what I'm finding is it's not as crazy as a lot of people say it is, because it's always up for interpretation. And I don't know, I love to say that I'd love to say, I just keep going into this zone of happiness right now. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, I would love to say that they work completely, and I think a lot of times what I find is it's always kind of dead on, and I've been trying to reevaluate what that means and where that comes from. And I know that's part of what Saybrook does, is trying to figure out the proof in the pudding, I guess, to that we're not flipping crazy and stuff. But I find that it really isn't one of those things where if you believe it enough that it works, and it's going to work, because it's not a cure. None of these things are a cure. I think it's help and guidance of the life we live, how we deal with problems and things like that. Because I truly believe if we open ourselves up to a greater, I don't know, just a greater openness in this world, that there's so much that we don't understand about our own brains and our connection and everything like that can help us on multiple levels. So with that said, when I got off the phone with you earlier, sorry, I'm having contact issues. When I got off the phone with you earlier, I felt this absolute need to grab my stones. It's weird to say crystals to me because they're stones to me. And to grab my cards that I really am drawn to. It's called the Wildwood Tarot. Of course, that word it's just whatever. But I love how it's called Where Wisdom Resides, and these cards are absolutely amazing. I love them. I love how they look. They're very earthy. I am an earth sign. All about the connection to the world and things like that. And I know you're very energy based lady who believes in the Lord, and I love that. I also believe in that as well. So with that said, I used my cards to try to make sense of what I can do to send you energy, to give you information, or where should you go, or what should you look at. Are you doing everything the right steps that you should be doing or taking, or whatever it may be. My general question was, what can I give Letha in her journey? And this is kind of my interpretation of what I came up with. I didn't choose a more detailed or complex reading. I just chose the 3 cards to draw. And when it comes to that, it breaks it down in the issue. What's the issue? It tells you what the issue is at hand, so that you kind of get an idea that the cards know where you're at. and what you're looking at. And I feel like in the past, before I really understood or developed a relationship with these kind of cards, that none of that stuff was really, connecting. But it's because I wasn't connected to the energy and the things like that, which I'm learning through this whole journey. It's so crazy. Everything that has to do with all of us in this group it's just related in multiple ways. So it breaks it down into what the issue is, what the action to take is, it's the ending, and what to avoid. So it breaks it down into action to avoid and then action to take. Right? Action to take. I made notes because I'm still learning. But I also find multiple reasons and multiple things within each one of these cards that I find really fits to the situation. Kind of like when we did our soul collage. So in our soul collage, there was multiple reasons for each one, and I love that about the cards. I don't remember if you do cards. I don't think you do. But what I've found is been really awesome is I've been trying to understand why it breaks it down in some of these cards, and other cards they don't. And there's multiple levels I'm still trying to learn, and I don't have a bajillion hours to really focus on that since we're in school and stuff. And today I've spent, since we got off the phone, I've been working on this, and it's 4 o'clock. So, yeah. I don't know what time I got off the phone with you, but I got off the phone with you at I got on the phone with you at 1:36. I just accidentally called you.
This was all you, none of it me. You put your hands on my body and told me.
I didn't plan that. It just turned
Told
on.
me you were ready for the big one, for the big jump. I'd be your last love, everlasting, you and me.
I did not plan that, but I left it for a very good reason. I do believe that the energy is out there, and I do believe that the connection is there as well, if we see it. And here's the thing about it. You have found your tribe, Miss Aletha. You may be the guardian of everyone and believe that you have to be the strong one all the time, but you don't. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. You know, and I'm finding that through this whole journey, I learned multiple things about my own family and life and relationships. And my ex was the guardian. He actually took the test too. And I find that he always struggled to allow himself to be vulnerable. And that was a problem that I had, is that he wouldn't allow me to be his rock. And I think that is going to tie hand in hand in what I'm going to share with you, that I pulled cards. And it also goes hand in hand with the song that just randomly came on, because it wasn't in my playlist. It wasn't on my, it was just on in my iTunes. And sometimes when I turn certain things off and I'm connected to things, it will start my music when I didn't ask for it to start. And here's the thing, is that you can look at that song by Adele in a million different ways. But here's the thing, y'all were together for a long time, and you're right. And that song's right, is that you're not kids anymore. It's time to grow up and move on. And if he couldn't have done that, and it's not something that you can do together, then it's time for you to take care of yourself. And the part on the other side that I was getting near the end is how she was talking about, if you're ready, I'm ready. And I feel like in the song she talks about, if you're ready, then I'm ready. So in other words, if you come around, then we can do this together. But here's the interpretation I take from it when I'm thinking about it popping up on a video I'm making for you, is if you're ready, then you should be ready. Like you're ready, you know? So I think it's that internal spirit saying, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's do this. I got you. And you're the guardian of everyone else. So you got you. You got this. And you got to a point where you're ready and you're moving on, and now you're going to start fresh and take care of yourself, you know? So bye to all the negative and the past things. I've learned from them. I've grown, but now this is who I am today, and I'm okay with that. Because I'm not a kid anymore. I'm an adult, and it's time to move on. And I love that, you know. I was getting goosebumps just thinking of multiple meanings to that, because that's what I do. I did not plan that. So with that said, I'm going to tell you and show you what I chose in the card. So the first thing that I pulled was a King of Stones, which is the wolf, which is this beautiful card right here. And I don't know if it's going to flip it for you to see or the wording, but I'm sure you can read it. So this is my take on it, and I made notes, so I'm going to read it, of the issue. The issue is this one. The King of Stones, the wolf, is a ruthless tracker and hunter, a guardian of the dead on their journey through the night. Looks to wisdom of others and traditional values. Loves security and loyalty above all. And then it breaks it down into different things. And so this is kind of my interpretation of you. I thought it was crazy that it comes up and it says the guardian. You're the guardian. That's you. And you're the ruthless tracker and hunter. In other words, you will, if you've hurt my friend, I'm going to go after you. If you hurt my family, I'm going to go after you. I'm going to get you. So that's you. And when people are the dead, in other words, when people are lost in their journey, they're lost, just wandering around, you give them light and you help them, you guide them, and you guard them. There you go. You protect them for all those things. And that is kind of what I see you as. but you love to search for the wisdom, and you like traditional values, and you love security, and loyalty means everything to you. So and that was kind of weird. I weird in a good way. I'm weird, so I rock that. Anyway, I found it very profound. I pulled these cards and certain words popping out to me. But it says, as a person, if we're talking about a person, they're experienced and mature, they're pragmatic, they're steadfast, they can be relied on to keep promises, they're a good advisor, they can be blunt but possessive. And this is just like totally, it says it's totally you. So as an aspect or a process, this person needs to appreciate the good things, protect yourself from outside influences, and then it breaks it down and gives you some other things. Again, remember, this card is what the issue is. So it's not you that's the issue. I think it's just giving an example of what's going on in the current problem, like what's up. And that was how I've interpreted you. Now it gives you the questions that you could possibly ask when you pull this card, which is, who offers you security? Who offers pragmatic advice? What is the intrinsic value to you or others? Where do you need to provide support, and where is life offering you riches? And I think this is a big question that I see you wondering a lot, is like, why am I here? What I don't have any support. My kids aren't around. I've lost those things. I feel like I've lost those things. Where are the riches? Where are all the positivity? And you found that with us at Saybrook, at least our small group, at least. And I think that's the value. You bring a great value to us in the group, and hopefully we bring something to you as well, and offer that kind of security that you lack back home. So I do hope that even through text messages or whatever it may be, you know that you are loved and cared for, and you can have security even when it feels like you don't have that at home. So know that that's there. It's been off and on reading today, so I apologize for the lighting. So the second card that I pulled is the action to avoid, which is the Eight of Arrows. The Eight of Arrows is something I have never pulled before. None of these, well, I've pulled the last one, but the first two, the wolf and this one, I have never pulled before. And I channeled you, my dear. So this one is the Eight of Arrows. It is struggle. This is the action to avoid. Notice the picture. So the picture is depicting a woman that's strongly leaning heavily on her staff. There's 8 broken arrows around her as she fights off the storm. And that's where I feel like you're at. You're there. You're fighting off this storm of all this stuff that's going on, and it's a struggle. It really is a struggle. But here's where it gets even more interesting. So the meaning of this card is, in the darkness of failure, a burning torch of hope remains, encouraging struggle. Courage is needed to survive the storm. Okay, so there's even more points to it. Sometimes conflicting issues and moral dilemmas exist and are unavoidable. We don't always have people to support us through those times, and sometimes we just feel alone. Choices are painful and stark. The path is dark and unfamiliar. Each struggle requires calm, decisive, resolute action that requires all your reserves of courage and wisdom. See the problem clearly to resolve it, and to overcome these tests. It only makes us stronger. Now, this is kind of where I was lost on, well, why would I pull this card for the action to avoid? And it's simple, really. It's about struggle. And one thing that I saw is that it may seem like all these things around this woman is broken, and that she just needs to pull it together and get through it. And it's thundering right when I said that. But here's the thing. What I noted in this more than anything else is that this woman feels like she's alone. And yeah, we can have people there, but we still feel alone in that struggle. That's why it's a struggle. Like, nobody else gets it. Nobody else is there. It's me that has to walk this path. It's me that has to go through it. It's me that has to do those things. And here's the thing. That's not always a bad thing. But why is it a way to... Why should we avoid this path? Because you can. You can avoid feeling alone, and you can avoid feeling like overwhelmed and that you're doing it alone. And even though you are doing this alone and you're going through these things, you don't have to feel alone. You don't have to feel this much struggle. And that's what I take from this. Why is that not the action to take? And the action not to take is because you now have people that you can talk to, that can encourage you, that can help you to stay strong, to use all those levels of courage and wisdom that this card is saying that you need. But you shouldn't have to struggle to find it on your own. And I think that's the whole point of this card, is that sometimes we can't find those reserves. Where the hell are they? Like, where are you supposed to pull them from? Because I don't feel like I have enough left, or whatever it may be. But what I find, and what I found from the whole experience with you all, is that y'all revived me. You made me alive again, and I hope that I can provide that for every single one of you. And that's the thing, is that we don't have to find the courage and wisdom alone. Sometimes we can find just amazing people to help us do the same thing, just so we don't have to struggle. I mean, yes, we need wisdom, we need courage, we need to overcome and make these tests, overcome these tests to make us a stronger person. And that's the whole point, and we all believe that. But here's the thing. You don't have to do it alone. It doesn't have to be a complete struggle. And I think that's the reason why it's to be avoided. You shouldn't have to struggle like that to get ahead. That was that one. It is getting really dark outside. Okay, so the last and final one that I pulled, a card that is the action to take. There's multiple ways that this can be interpreted. And it wasn't until when I got to the last part of this did I see it from a different aspect. So I'm going to walk you through the card and what it means, and then what I think it means. It's the number 3, the green woman. Now, I love this card. It is the absolute representation of life. Woman. You're a woman. Hear us roar. You know what I mean? Minus Max. we were all women, And even more so, what I take from this is that this is a woman that is all about all about the earth and kinship and love and bonding and all of these things, right? So that's just kind of what I'm taking from it. So I read it even more, and it says the green woman, she is the earthly manifestation of female solar energy. She is the element of fire. She's steady, serene, and graceful. She represents full life force of all women. She provides a safe place for all, and even the innocent and vulnerable. She is the female archetype of wildness and green energy. She represents balance, goodness of the land, express sovereignty for those who brave her tests, and offers those who succeed gifts of kinship, love, and deep bonding to earth. She is a glorious light. She blesses everything she touches with life and boundless energy. She is complex but subtle. She is dynamic in her interactions. She mediates the blessings of the earth, forms a bond with the seeker who wishes to attune to the rhythm of life. She validates kinship. They say that she appears in a time of rich nurturing and protection, learning, initiation, when loving and fertile relationships can show the path to understanding and communion with nature. Remember, this glorious, magnanimous, and generous spirit can live through you, radiated through the breath of life, and given to others who need guidance and healing. Learn from the abundant, joyous spirit of the earth and be one with the world and your true self. The signs, or the representation, is the Universal Mother, Maid Marian, and the Womb of Nature. So though I was trying to detail, I'm sorry, my nose started running, detail this whole idea of what this card means. Does it represent a person? But here's the thing is, from my understanding, it doesn't represent a person. It represents the bigger picture of things. And at first, when I'm thinking about it representing a woman, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm all about life and nature and stuff, and maybe that's what it means. I'm supposed to help her to find that connection even further, or whatever it means. Now, that wasn't my first idea. That was the thought later on. Could this be thinking about me? Could it be the rest of the women in the group? But initially I thought, is this symbolizing the underneath Aletha? Like, is that what it's saying? Is that protection side, that joyous side, that connection and things like that? And that is who you are, but I don't think that's the whole point of this. To me, I think pulling this card is about what it says, a deep bond with the seeker who wishes to attune to the rhythm of life. You're attuning. You're refreshing everything. You're becoming anew. You're becoming something totally different than what you were living. And that's scary and also exciting at the same time. And the great thing about it is that she protects us. She creates this nurturing support, feeling of communion, feeling of connection, and just creates this ability to build a stronger bond with the things that matter. And a part of that, from my understanding of you, is a deep connection with your inner spirit, your inner person, your energy, your love of life, your need to guide and to guard others and protect others and do all those things. And I think that's a wonderful thing. But pulling this card is more empowering for you, because learn from the abundant, joyous spirit of the earth. Be one with the world and your true self. So, in my understanding is, the problem is, not problem, but the situation is, you're always, always there for other people. No matter what, to help them through the storm. That's what's going on. But you always feel like you can do it alone, and that you should have to do it alone. For you, you're there for everyone, but who's there for you? You don't have to struggle alone. And even more so, she says that. You don't have to struggle alone, because the search for your true self and that end goal that you're going towards is exactly what you need to be doing. And you're on the path to get there. So my understanding is, don't give up, because what you're looking for is there, and it's worth it on the other side. And that's the other thing I take from that other card, is that it's worth it. It really is worth it, because the abundance of life in that green, it's beyond what you think could be. I don't know. That's my take on it. How awesome is that? So, with that said, that's pretty much what I have. I'm still uploading my other video. I didn't intend for this to be 30 minutes long, but my heart felt like it needed to be with you today, and I'm going to send all the happy vibes I possibly can to you. I'm hoping that you will get them, and if you're ready, you're ready. Hang in there. Seriously.